The lock clicked. Daphne stood in the doorway of apartment 12B. Her hands steady as steel, her heart a drum of quiet thunder. Inside, sprawled across a leather couch she'd purchased 3 years ago, was her husband, and beside him, wearing nothing but his shirt, was a woman who'd been sending him late-night messages for 18 months. They didn't see her yet. The champagne bottle sat half empty on the coffee table. The mistress's laugh, high, careless, victorious, echoed to the room Daphne owned, the building Daphne owned, the life they thought they'd stolen. Branson's phone buzzed. He glanced down, and his face drained of color. The screen read, "Eviction notice, tenant, Branson Carver. Landlord, Daphne M. Carver." "Wait," he whispered. "What?" Daphne stepped inside, smiled. "Welcome home, darling." But wait, before we get into how Daphne pulled off the most savage revenge in relationship history, let me ask you this. Have you ever trusted someone so completely that you ignored every red flag waving in your face? Drop a comment if you've been there. And if you want to see a cheater get exactly what he deserves, smash that like button and subscribe. Because the story, it's about to get wild. You're probably wondering how a devoted mother of two became the puppet master in her own marriage's demolition. How she turned her husband's affair into his worst nightmare. How she made him pay rent to the woman he betrayed. Let me take you back. Daphne Carver had always been good at noticing things. The way Branson's cologne changed from woodsy to citrus. The way he started going to gym at 9 p.m. instead of 6 a.m. The way his phone, once carelessly tossed on the kitchen counter, now lived in his pocket like a pacemaker. She noticed, but she didn't react. Daphne was 34, a mother to 7-year-old twins, Calloway and Tinsley, and the kind of woman people underestimated. She wore her hair in a simple ponytail. She drove a modest SUV. She volunteered at the kids' school and made casseroles for neighbors. What nobody knew, Daphne owned a 12-unit apartment building in Scottsdale, Arizona, worth $4.2 million. Her grandmother, Estelle, had left it to her when Daphne was 23. Estelle had been a quiet powerhouse, a woman who bought real estate when women weren't supposed to own anything. She taught Daphne one rule: never let a man know what you're worth until you know what he's worth. So Daphne had kept it quiet. The building was managed under an LLC, Redstone Property Group, and Daphne's name appeared nowhere. Branson thought she was just a stay-at-home mom with a little inheritance that paid for groceries. He had no idea. And now, as she sat at the kitchen table watching him text someone named V with heart emojis, Daphne realized Estelle had been right about more than real estate. She opened her laptop, typed in the LLC portal, checked her accounts. Everything was in order. She wasn't leaving. He was. It took Daphne 3 weeks to gather everything. She didn't hire a private investigator. She didn't need to. Branson was sloppy in the way cheaters always are, arrogant, lazy, convinced she'd never look. First, the credit card statements, charges at boutique hotels in Sedona, jewelry stores, a weekend trip to Napa she definitely hadn't been invited to. Then the cloud account. Branson used the same password for everything. Calloway 1007. The kids' names and birth year. Sweet. Stupid. Daphne logged in. Photos. Dozens of them. Branson and a woman with platinum hair and a smile sharp enough to cut glass. Her name, according to metadata, was Venetia. Of course it was. They were at wineries, on yachts, in bed. Daphne's stomach turned, but her hands stayed steady. She downloaded everything, backed it up, sent copies to a secure email account Branson didn't know existed. Then she called her lawyer. "I need to update my will," Daphne said, "and I need to file for divorce. But I don't want him served yet." Her lawyer, a sharp woman named Paloma, paused. "You want to wait?" "I want to prepare." Paloma smiled. "I like you." 2 months later, Branson came home with news. "I think we need space," he said. Daphne looked up from her laptop. Calloway and Tinsley were at her sister's for the weekend. The house was too quiet. "Space?" she repeated. "Yeah, just temporary. I've been under a lot of stress at work, and I think some time apart might help us reconnect." Daphne wanted to laugh. Cry. Scream. Instead, she nodded. Okay. Branson blinked. Really, if that's what you need. He looked almost disappointed, like he'd wanted to fight. Permission to be the victim. I'll find a place, he said. Something short-term. Daphne already knew which place he'd find, because 3 days earlier she'd listed apartment 12B, the nicest unit in her building, on Zillow. 2 bedrooms, mountain views, newly renovated kitchen. Rent, $2,800 a month. Anonymous landlord. Professional management company. She'd even staged it herself. And when Branson's application came through Redstone Property Group's portal, Daphne approved it personally. Branson left on a Thursday. Just a work trip, he said, kissing her forehead like she was a child. Miami. Conference. I'll be back Monday. Daphne watched him pack. Watched him toss in the cologne. Venetia probably bought him. Watched him check his phone 17 times in 10 minutes. Have fun, she said. The door closed. Daphne counted to 60. Then she called Paloma. Filed the papers. You sure? Positive. Next, she texted her sister. Can the kid stay with you for 2 weeks? Everything okay? It will be. Then Daphne went to work. She moved her important documents, birth certificates, passports, financial records, into a safe deposit box. She opened a new bank account in her name only. She changed the passwords on everything. And she waited. Branson returned from Miami with a tan and a guilty smile. How was it? Daphne asked. Exhausting, but good. Liar. She'd seen the photos. Venetia had posted them on a semi-private Instagram account Daphne had found through some light digital stalking. Cocktails by the pool. Sunset on a yacht. Branson's hand on Venetia's waist. I'm glad, Daphne said. Branson cleared his throat. So, I found a place for the space thing. Already? Yeah, it's perfect. Great location. Month-to-month lease. That's wonderful. He studied her, searching for cracks. But Daphne had practiced her face in the mirror. She was a wall. I'll move in this weekend, he said. Do you need help? No. I've got it. Of course he did. Venetia was probably already picking out throw pillows. The first complaint came 4 days after Branson moved in. Daphne's property manager, a no-nonsense man named Emilio, forwarded her the email. Subject, maintenance request, app 12B. Hi. The shower pressure is really low and the Wi-Fi keeps cutting out. Can someone come fix this ASAP? Thanks. V. Calloway. Daphne stared at the screen. V. Calloway. Venetia had taken Branson's last name, or at least started using it. Playing house. Daphne's jaw tightened. She typed a reply through Emilio's account. Hello, Ms. Calloway. We apologize for the inconvenience. A technician will be by tomorrow between 2 to 4 p.m. Please ensure someone is home. Redstone Property Group. She sent a plumber. A real one. Fixed the shower. But she also installed a tiny camera in the hallway just to see who came and went. Over the next 2 weeks, the complaints kept coming. The dishwasher made noise. The air conditioning was too cold. The parking spot was too far from the elevator. Each time, Daphne responded politely, professionally, and each time she learned more. Venetia worked from home. Branson left every morning at 7:30. They ordered takeout 4 nights a week. They fought about money. Daphne knew everything, and they knew nothing. Branson started showing up. First, it was texts. Can we talk? Then calls. Voicemails. Daphne, please. I miss the kids. I miss you. Then he appeared at the house. Daphne opened the door to find him standing on the porch, hands in his pockets, eyes soft. Hey, he said. Hey. Can I come in? The kids aren't here. I know. I wanted to talk to you. She stepped aside, let him in, offered him water. They sat in the living room where they'd once watched movies, where he'd proposed, where they'd built a life that now felt like a stage set. I made a mistake, Branson said. Daphne waited. This separation thing, it's not working. I thought I needed space, but I need my family. Do you? Yes. He reached for her hand. She let him take it. I love you, Daphne. I always have. She looked at him, really looked, and saw a man who thought he could have everything. The wife, the mistress, the perfect apartment, the reset button. What about Venetia? Daphne asked. His face went white. What? The woman you went to Miami with. The woman living in your apartment. Silence. I don't. Don't lie to me, Branson. He pulled his hand back, stood, paced. It's complicated. I'm sure. She doesn't mean anything. It was just 18 months. Daphne said, that's a long just. He stared. How did you? I'm not stupid. I never said you were. You treated me like I was. He sank back onto the couch, dropped his head into his hands. I'm sorry. I know. Can we fix this? Daphne smiled. No. 2 weeks later, Venetia threw a housewarming party. Daphne saw the Instagram story. Balloons, champagne, a caption that read, New beginnings, clinking glasses, sparkles. She also saw the noise complaint filed by the tenant in 11B. Emilio forwarded it. Loud music until 2 a.m. Multiple complaints. Wanting to send a warning. Daphne replied, I'll handle it personally. She didn't go that night, but she drafted an email. Dear Mr. Carver and Ms. Calloway, we've received multiple noise complaints regarding your unit, per your lease agreement. Quiet hours are 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Further violations may result in lease termination. Thank you for your cooperation. Redstone Property Group. She hit send and waited. Branson called her the next day. Did you report us? What? To the landlord. Did you call and complain about the party? Daphne frowned. Why would I do that? I don't know. You've been acting weird. I don't even know where you live, Branson. Lie. Beautiful lie. He sighed. Sorry, I'm just stressed. The landlord's being a pain. That's unfortunate. Yeah. Pause. The kids miss you, Daphne said. You should come see them. Really? Of course. You're their father. Branson's voice softened. Thank you. Anytime. She hung up and smiled. Venetia hated the apartment. Daphne knew this because Venetia called Emilio a lot. The neighbors were too loud. The water heater broke. The elevator smelled weird. The rent was too high. Daphne fixed everything promptly, professionally, but she also started raising little concerns. A note slipped under the door. Reminder, only 2 occupants per lease agreement. A text from Emilio. Management noticed an unauthorized vehicle in your assigned spot. Please confirm. Small things. Legal things. Things that made Venetia paranoid. Made Branson defensive. Their perfect love nest was cracking. And Daphne was just getting started. So far, Daphne's been playing a long game. Her cheating husband Branson and his mistress Venetia think they're living their best life in a gorgeous apartment. Totally unaware that Daphne is their landlord. But the trap is about to snap shut. And trust me, what happens next? Chef's kiss. Let's dive in. It started with the refrigerator. Venetia sent an email to Redstone Property Group at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. Subject, urgent, fridge broken. The fridge stopped working and all our food is going bad. This is unacceptable. I need someone here first thing tomorrow or I'm withholding rent. Daphne read it twice. Then she replied, Dear Ms. Calloway, we sincerely apologize. A technician will arrive tomorrow at 9 a.m. In the meantime, we're happy to reimburse you for any spoiled groceries. Please save your receipts. Redstone Property Group. Professional. Kind. She sent a repairman. The fridge was fine. Just unplugged. Probably knocked loose when Venetia moved furniture. But Daphne didn't tell her that. Instead, she had the repairman say, Yeah, these older units can be finicky. You might want to keep an eye on it. Venetia fumed. And Daphne? She took notes. A week later, Venetia demanded to meet the landlord in person. I've been dealing with Emilio for weeks, and I want to speak to whoever actually owns this building. These issues are ridiculous, and I deserve answers. Daphne's heart skipped. This was it. She replied through Emilio's account. The property owner prefers to remain anonymous, but I assure you all concerns are being addressed. If you'd like to schedule a call, I'm happy to arrange that. Venetia didn't respond, but Branson did. He called Daphne that night. Hey, weird question. Do you know anyone in property management? Why? Daphne asked, stirring pasta sauce for the kids. Venetia's having issues with our landlord. I thought maybe you'd know someone who could help. Sorry, I don't. Damn. Okay. Pause. How are the kids? They're good. Calloway asked about you today. Guilt. She could hear it in his breath. I'll come by this weekend. They'd love that. She hung up and smiled into the steam rising from the pot. It was a Saturday. Branson showed up at Daphne's house at 10 a.m., holding coffee and a bag of donuts like some kind of apology offering. The kids ran to him, hugged him. Daphne watched from the doorway, arms crossed. Can we talk? Branson asked after an hour of playing pretend family in the backyard. Sure. They sat on the porch. The kids were inside, watching cartoons. Branson sipped his coffee. I've been thinking about us, this separation. I think it was a mistake. Daphne said nothing. I want to come home, he said. I want to fix this. Be a family again. What about Venetia? He flinched. It's over. Is it? Yes. I ended it last week. Liar. Daphne had seen Venetia's Instagram story that morning. Branson's hand on her leg. Caption: Lazy Saturday with my love. That's good, Daphne said. Branson leaned forward. So, can I come back? Daphne reached into her bag, pulled out a manila envelope. What's this? He asked. Open it. He did. The first page was divorce papers. Already filed. Already signed by Daphne. His face went slack. Daphne, keep reading. The second page was an eviction notice. Tenant, Branson Carver. Property, 12B for 50, Redstone Boulevard, Scottsdale, Arizona. Landlord, Daphne M. Carver. Reason, lease termination. Effective immediately. Branson's hand shook. What is this? I'm your landlord, Branson. Silence. I own the building. I've owned it for 11 years. You've been paying me rent for 2 months. His mouth opened, closed, opened again. You what? I approved your application. I fixed Venetia's shower. I sent the noise complaint. Why? Because you made a choice, and I made mine. He stood. The envelope fell. Paper scattered. This is insane. Is it? You've been lying to me. Daphne laughed. Actually laughed. I've been lying? You let me move into your building without telling me. You cheated on me for 18 months without telling me. That's different. How? He had no answer. Daphne stood, looked him in the eye. You have 30 days to vacate. If you're not out, I'll have you removed. You can't do this. I already did. What about the kids? They'll be fine. With me? Branson's face twisted. I'll fight you. With what money? You're broke, Branson. I checked. You checked my joint accounts. Remember? I'm still on them. You've been spending everything on her. He stared. Daphne picked up the envelope, handed it back. You need to leave now. Daphne, leave, before I call the police. He left, and Daphne sat back down on the porch and breathed for the first time in months. Branson tried everything. He called, texted, showed up at the house, sent flowers, wrote letters. Daphne ignored all of it. Venetia, on the other hand, lost her mind. She called Redstone Property Group screaming, threatened lawsuits, said she'd report them to the Better Business Bureau. Emilio forwarded it all to Daphne. Want to respond? No. Let her yell. Because here's the thing. Venetia had signed the lease too, and the lease was ironclad. 10 days later, Daphne got a text from an unknown number. This is Venetia. We need to talk. Daphne blocked it. But 2 hours later, Venetia showed up at her door. Daphne opened it, stood in the frame, didn't invite her in. You're her, Venetia said. The landlord. I am. You've been screwing with us this whole time. I've been maintaining my property. Venetia's eyes were red, mascara smudged. You're pathetic. Daphne tilted her head. Am I using your money to manipulate people? I didn't manipulate anyone. You chose to sleep with a married man. He chose to lie. I chose to protect myself. He loves me. Then why is he begging to come back to me? Venetia's face crumpled. Daphne stepped closer, lowered her voice. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to leave my property. You're going to leave my husband. Sorry, ex-husband. And you're going to move on with your life. Because if you don't, I will make every single day a legal nightmare. You can't. I can. And I will. Venetia turned, walked away. Daphne closed the door. 3 weeks later, apartment 12B was empty. Daphne walked through it with Emilio. They left it in good shape, he said. Security deposit? Keep it. You sure? Positive. She stood in the living room. The same couch. The same view. But it felt different now. Clean. Want me to list it again? Emilio asked. Not yet. Daphne walked to the window. Looked out over Scottsdale. The city glowed in the afternoon light. Her phone buzzed. A text from Branson. Please, can we just talk? I'm sorry. I'll do anything. She stared at it. Then she took a photo of the empty apartment. The for rent sign Emilio had just put up. She sent it to Branson. No words, just a photo. Then she blocked his number. 6 months later, Daphne sat in a coffee shop in Tempe with Paloma. How are you doing? Paloma asked. Good, really good. Kids, thriving. Callaway made the soccer team. Tinsley's obsessed with painting. And Branson moved to Phoenix. Got a studio apartment. Sees the kids every other weekend. Venetia? Daphne smiled. Gone. Apparently she moved back to California. Paloma raised her cup. To freedom. To freedom. They clinked. Daphne's phone buzzed. A notification from her property management app. New tenant approved for 12B. A young couple. Teachers. No drama. Perfect. She closed the app. Looked out the window. The sun was setting. The sky was pink and gold. And for the first time in years, Daphne felt light. A year later, Daphne sold the building. Not because she had to, because she wanted to. She used the money to buy a house in Flagstaff. She started a consulting business helping women navigate divorce and financial independence. And one day, she got a message on LinkedIn from Venetia. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. I was wrong. I hope you're doing well. Daphne stared at it for a long time. Then she typed, I am. I hope you are too. And she meant it, because revenge wasn't about hurting people. It was about taking back your power. And Daphne? She'd never been more powerful. So there you have it. Daphne didn't just win. She dominated. If this story gave you chills, drop a like. If you ever want to pull off a revenge plot this legendary, tell me in the comments. And if you want more stories about people who refuse to be victims, subscribe. Because trust me, we're just getting started. He thought he was coming home to his family. He just moved into hers. The end.